Hi guys. So today's video I think is going to be a fun one. I think it's also going to be a little embarrassing for me, but I wanted to revisit the video I made at the end of last year about the series I wanted to read in 2018. What I'll do is I'll let you know if I did indeed read some of these books, what I thought of them, and then I also thought it would be fun to embarrass myself by being like, look at all the books I had plans to read and then just didn't. I will say I have a bit of a valid reason for not getting to as many books as I would have liked this year. Many of you know my dad was in a terrible car accident in March of this year, and so a lot of months of my life flew by because I was staying at his house, taking him to doctor's appointments, helping him just function because he was injured. And so, you know, there's that. But also, I just didn't get around. So I have sometimes when I make TBRs, I'm like, these are the books I really want to read. And then I go to read that month and I'm like, I just don't feel like it. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see how bad the I just don't feel like it hit me throughout this last year. Alrighty, cue the other video. Hi guys. So today's video is going to be a list of series that I want to read in 2018. Why was I talking like I was disgusted with the idea of reading books? That's not great. They're actually more a list of series I want to start in 2018 because I have no intentions of finishing all the books in all of these series, but I'm gonna go ahead and start with the most shameful one, the one that I give you guys full permission to publicly shame me for not having read these, and that would be The Lord of the Rings. Alright, so I am starting The Lord of the Rings this month, so I will be reading it. I haven't read it yet, so I can't give an opinion on it, but it's on the TBR. Next up are two series that are actually by the same author, and I want to at least start both of these series, and that would be the Night Angel trilogy and then the Black Prism series by Brent Weeks. Alrighty, I think most of you by now already know that I did start Black Prism, and I didn't care for it, and I decided I just didn't think I was maybe a fan of Brent Weeks, so I actually turned in both my Black Prism books and my Night Angel bind-up trilogy in for store credit, and then use that to buy different books. The biggest thing for me is I just really wasn't a fan of the characters in the story, and so if I'm not connected to the characters in any way, or I don't care about the characters, then it makes it really hard for me to care about anything else, and that was the biggest thing for me. I'm actually going to shift for a bit and talk about some young adult series that I really want to start. A couple being really new releases, but ones that everybody seems to be saying really great things about, and one would be a book that I only just recently got. I've not heard a ton about it, but as soon as I mentioned it, you guys that have read it were like, oh, I really liked that book, and that would be The Glass Bear by Lauren DeStefano. Nope, I didn't read that one. I actually kind of forgot about it. Another book that is quite new that you guys have been saying is awesome is Marie Lu's Warcross. I actually really want to also read the Legend series by Marie Lu. I read no Marie Lu, so big fail for me. Another series that is young adult that everybody has been raving about, and I am super late to the bandwagon, but really want to get to that this year, would be An Ember in the Ashes by Saba Tahir. Alright, I not only read An Ember in the Ashes, I read all three of the books that are out, and I don't know that I love them as much as a lot of other people do. I can definitely see why people like them. I think the writing style is one that's very engaging and very gripping. I find that my like and dislike of various characters is shifting around a lot as the stories, the ongoing story continues. I will see what I think when I read the next one, because depending on how the series turns out, I might eventually pick them up and then have a whole set of them, or not. For me, there's a little lack of world building, and I really love world building. There's a few things just in that this particular class of people always seem to be able to identify them as like, oh, those are the scholars. And I don't understand how, because they don't seem to share any physical traits. There are no commonalities of race between them or anything that distinguishes them as what they are. And that's weird to me. And that's just kind of an example of the maybe lack of world building. It's very much character driven. I normally am big into character driven books, but I would like a little more world building for my personal taste. Next up is a series that I honestly am so intrigued by because everybody says wonderful things about this author's writing, and that would be the Seven Realms series by Cinda Williams Chima. I did read I read all the Seven Realms series, so I'm very proud of myself for that. The Seven Realms series is a little bit older, so it doesn't necessarily have a lot of the same trends that are common in modern fantasy books, and they're not super old, but if you are looking for something that came out a little bit before, I would say this is a good one to check out. And I'd also say, kind of contrary to the Ember and the Ashes books, this series I think has a good amount of world building, especially for YA. The magic system isn't really much of a system. There are people who are wizards, and they have these pieces of they have these things called flash pieces, and they kind of store energy into them, and then they need those in order to use magic. That's kind of the full extent of it. But as far as knowing every single spell and rules and limitations and stuff, you don't really get that. So maybe in that way, some people would consider the magic systems tied into the world building. So in that way, I would say it doesn't have the most detailed world building with magic. But a lot of the rest of it, I would say, is done really well. The descriptions of the scenery or the places that you're in, they're really done, I think, very, very well. And the character development is something I appreciate a lot about this series, because when you first meet the characters, I would say that they're like semi-likable, but not, I didn't love any of the characters initially, but as the series progresses, you see them come into their own, you see them mature a lot, and I really love seeing that in books. Moving from young adult into middle grade, I absolutely need to get around to the Percy Jackson series. Yeah, I didn't read any middle grade in 2018, so that means I did not get to Percy Jackson. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit because I just go on this rant about how all of you recommended the next book to me. What the heck, how have I not heard of this before? And that would be Bloodsong by Anthony Ryan. Bloodsong was freaking fantastic. I highly recommend it. It is absolutely my favorite thing of everything that I've been listing in this video. It is what I describe as Name of the Wind, but more to my liking. It's got a good amount of humor. It is dark at times, so just kind of go into it knowing that. And then the main character is fantastic. So yeah, two thumbs up for Bloodsong. And lastly is a series that I've wanted to get around to for a while, and that would be Theft of Swords by Michael J. Sullivan. I did not read Theft of Swords, unfortunately. I really am excited to still. I still have heard great things. I haven't really heard anything really controversial. I was expecting to have done much worse when it came to picking up the series that I was interested in, but I didn't do so bad. Let me know how you all did getting to the books that you were hoping to get around to this last year. But anyway, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to donate to Save the Children. I have the link in the description bar. If you donate, you'll automatically be entered into a giveaway where you can win $20 worth of books. But anyway, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you later. Bye.